A lot of people say they want peace. They say they want clarity. They say they want direction. But whenever life gets quiet, they run straight back to the noise. They go back on their phone. They go back to other people. They go back to anything that keeps them from sitting alone with their own mind. And I think this says a lot. Because maybe the reason so many people can't find peace is not because peace is rare. But maybe it's because the one place where peace is most likely to be found is that exact place that people keep avoiding. And I ask you this. If silence makes you uncomfortable, what does that say about the relationship with yourself? Most people have no idea who they are when everything gets quiet. Because the second there's no noise, no scrolling, no conversations, no one around, no stimulation, something starts to feel off. And instead of sitting with that feeling, they escape it. Not because those distractions actually give them peace, but because they are hoping those distractions will save them from having to face themselves. They are not really finding peace in these moments either. They are borrowing relief. They are borrowing noise. They are borrowing temporary comfort from whatever keeps them from being alone with their own thoughts. And that is exactly the problem. Because when your peace is tied to distraction, it's not really peace at all. It means your sense of calm is dependent on something outside of you. It means the second that noise disappears, so does that feeling you once called peace. Because if your life is always full of noise, distraction, and stimulation, when do you ever get to meet yourself? When do you ever get to hear your own thoughts clearly? When do you ever get to separate what's actually you from everything the world has thrown onto you? Being alone doesn't instantly bring you peace, and it certainly doesn't feel good right away. But if you stay there long enough, if you stop running every time life gets quiet, you start hearing yourself in a way you cannot hear yourself when everything around you is loud. And I ask you this. Have you ever actually sat with yourself long enough to know who you are without distraction? To fully understand why some of us can't find peace in being alone, we first have to go to the root of the problem. And that simply is just distraction. We live in a world where distraction is constantly being prioritized. The unfortunate reality is that there is almost never a moment where nothing is demanding your attention. Your phone is there, other people are there, and something online is always waiting to be consumed. And even when nothing is happening, most people still feel the need to go looking for more noise. And when your life is always filled with that kind of stimulation, your mind really never gets the chance to settle. Because peace does not show up when your attention is scattered in different directions. And it does not show up when your mind is constantly reacting to whatever is in front of it. It also does not show up when you're always consuming, always responding, and always trying to avoid the silence. Peace needs space. You need stillness. You need enough quiet for you to actually hear yourself and reflect on what's going on inside of you. But most people don't give themselves the space. They move from one distraction to the next, one conversation to the next, and one source of stimulation to the next, and call that living. Then they wonder why they feel restless all the time. Do you actually want peace? Or do you just want distraction that feels good in the moment? And on top of that, when you're always around people, it becomes very easy for your identity to get shaped by outside influences. That starts from very young. Your family shapes the way you look at love, connection, and what family is even supposed to feel like. It gives you an early idea of what you want out of closeness, what kind of household feels normal to you, and what kind of life feels familiar. School shapes you too. It shapes your discipline, the way you see achievement, the way you carry yourself around other people, and even the way you start thinking about your future. Then friends shape another part of you. They shape how you socialize, how you open up, how you treat other people, and what kind of energy you start becoming uncomfortable around. So a lot of people don't just grow into themselves. They slowly grow around other people's reactions. That's exactly why solitude matters. Because solitude gives you distance from all that. It gives you a chance to step back and ask whether the person you've become is really you, or it's a version of you that was shaped by your environment. What do I actually think when nobody's around? What do I actually want when nobody's influencing me? And what kind of person am I when I'm not performing for anyone? And when all that is gone, what's left is just you. Now, here's the part people don't like talking about. And the truth of the matter is, solitude can get very uncomfortable. It's not this soft, peaceful thing right away. A lot of the time, it feels lonely. It feels boring. It feels heavy. It makes you feel like there's nobody to talk to, nothing to distract you, and nowhere to run from what's going on inside your own mind. And because of that, most people's first instinct is to escape it. The second that loneliness starts creeping in, they want to text somebody. The second boredom shows up, they reach for their phone. And the second life starts to feel too quiet, they want to go out, talk to someone, scroll, consume something, do anything other than just sit there with themselves. And honestly, I get it. Because what makes solitude uncomfortable is not just the silence itself, but it's what the silence brings up: your thoughts, your doubts, your fears, your habits, your inner desires, the truths about yourself that are easy to ignore when life is loud. And that is exactly why solitude is so difficult for a lot of people. Not because it has no value, but because it asks something from you. Are you uncomfortable being alone because you think solitude is bad? Or is it because solitude shows you things that you'd usually avoid? And this is where I want to make a very important distinction. Solitude is not loneliness. A lot of people hear the word solitude and immediately think of being cut off, abandoned, or stuck by yourself with nobody there for you. But that's not what I mean. What I'm saying is that peace cannot come from dependence. If you need people around you all the time just to feel okay, if you need constant distraction just to feel calm, then that's not really peace. Real peace has to start from within yourself first. You should be able to spend time alone without that feeling becoming so uncomfortable that you immediately need a distraction, a conversation, or somebody else's presence just to feel settled again. And that's why solitude should be in moderation. Not as a way of rejecting life, but as a way of returning to yourself long enough to get something real out of it. But the thing is though, if you can get past that initial discomfort, if you can stop running every time solitude starts getting heavy, something deeper begins to happen. You start getting clarity. Not the kind of clarity that comes from other people telling you who you are or what you should want, but the kind that comes from finally sitting with yourself long enough to hear your own mind clearly. You start to realize what actually matters to you. You start to understand what you actually want out of life. You start seeing your own direction more clearly. Not through the approval of other people, not through distraction, but through your own reflection. And that changes something. Because once you begin to understand yourself more, your identity starts getting stronger. You start feeling like a person who's only held together by other people, attention, or constant stimulation. You start feeling more grounded in yourself. And that's what solitude can give you if you let it. A stronger understanding of self, a clearer sense of direction, a deeper connection to who you really are. And from that understanding, peace starts to show up. This year, I've really been finding peace in solitude. I feel like I've used solitude as a tool to better myself and grow. I always used to depend on, I wouldn't say depend, but I always used to hang around people. I always used to, want that external feeling of belonging in a sense where like I always wanted to, feel belonged in a certain group. And I realized I started acting in a way in which my peace depended on people. And I wasn't being my authentic self. I feel like by somewhat isolating myself, I've gained a stronger sense of identity, and I feel like I'm more authentic in a way. I know what I like, what I don't like, the people I want to hang around, the people I don't want to hang around. And solitude has really put me at peace with all those ideas. And like, I feel like I've also been very, very locked in a way where I don't have any external distractions. Like obviously there's social media there. I'll be scrolling on social media once in a while, which I do need to stop. I'm gonna be honest. But I felt more locked in. I felt more at peace with what I want to do. I have a stronger sense of purpose, I would say. Like I really enjoy philosophy. Like I post philosophy TikToks all the time. And that's what I want to do. I'm on the pursuit for wisdom. Like I said, the chapter of my life right now is I'm on that pursuit for wisdom. I'm on that pursuit for knowledge. I really want to become smarter, more intellectual, and solitude has really taught me that. And I feel like if you guys also practice solitude, in moderation of course, right? I don't want you guys to completely isolate yourself from the world and feel like, you have no friends or feel completely lonely. Like I don't want you guys to do that. But I want you guys to just sit with yourselves and try to sit alone and try to think about, what you could be doing with your life, or what, you really want out of life. And just try to sit alone and see, what the kind of creativity or the kind of, ideas you could come up. And I feel like everyone should practice it. It's very peaceful. It's very reflective. You can really reflect on, your past mistakes, or just like who you are as a person. And before I leave you guys, I'm gonna leave you with this. Who are you when no one's watching? It's been Brilly. Thanks for watching. Peace out.